moet je...
Moet ik iets zeggen?
WebRTC gaat niet over ons netwerk. Dat is heel stom.
Oké.
Hackcafé
Nederland is the show that digs into the brightest idea and the people building them. This is season 11, episode 6, and today we are thrilled to have two innovators from Aarini Consulting joining us, Arun Krishnamoorthy and Sreenivasalu. They recently took part in the VNSG SAP BTP Hackathon and unveiled a breakthrough product which is called Prodsphere, and we will do a deep dive in the product that they have built during the hackathon. It is a product experience management solution. You can check it out at www.prodsphere.com. And it is even certified and in the SAP App Store.
Oh la la.
It's a real product. It's a real product, right? So
from hackathon to product.
From hackathon to product, that's really amazing. And I think we're welcome to. We're ready to start the show, right?
Looking forward to talking to these innovators.
They're talking about the hackathon journey and the problem that they have solved with Prodsphere and what it is here for and how they build it with BTP and their team. Welcome to Hackcafé, the Netherlands.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hackcafé Nederland is your one-stop shop for all things SAP. Grab yourself a coffee or tea and join regulars Jan Penninkhof,
Goedemiddag,
and Tom van der Broek.
That's me.
With our guests as they chat about latest developments, innovations, events, or simply catch up. Let's head inside.
Welcome Arun.
Hello, hi Jan.
Welcome Hari.
Thank you, Twan and Jan, for having us here.
Welcome Jan.
That's all. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. So you participated in the VNSG SAP BTP Hackathon. Did you have sleepless nights?
No, not exactly.
Not exactly.
Exactly the sleepless night. So this hackathon, it was a bit different. We had plenty of time to build our solutions. So it's not like a 24 hours event like earlier.
Yeah.
So we had time to plan and develop the applications.
Yeah, I like that part of the approach of, of the plan of the hackathon because when they first reached out to us, hey, can you support the hackathon? Oh no, there goes my sleep.
It's like we used to do these kind of things, but nowadays we are all dudes.
Yeah, we now have gray hair. Yeah.
I need my sleep.
Yeah, yeah. But big hand of applause because you have a product which is then certified and also in the SAP App Store, and that's all part of this hackathon.
No, it's not all part of the hackathon. So we already had a product called as a Prodsphere.
Okay.
So our team has put in a hard work to build that. So when the hackathon challenge came in, what we thought is if you are going to spend a couple of months time into development, we also make use of this time also into building a new feature into the application.
You build on top of the existing product.
So we build it on top of that existing one.
Yeah.
But the origin of Prodsphere was actually an SAP hackathon 3 years ago.
Okay.
2023, we did the SAP Cloud Foundry or SAP Cloud Platform hackathon at the time.
Cloud Platform. Those were the days.
Old days. So the idea of Prodsphere was born during that hackathon as a product workflow solution, and then we expand. We were the runners of that hackathon as well.
Yeah.
And then we kept on building that product and to make it as a product experience management. And in this hackathon, we added this cool feature of digital product passport, which is related to the ESG and social responsibility regulations in Europe.
Yeah.
So Arun and the team activated the DPP capability.
So every time that you guys find a hackathon, the product is going to be expanded again.
Exactly.
That's your strategy.
Hackathon-based feature engineering.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Okay.
But maybe you should explain a little bit about what the product actually does, because it doesn't ring a bell to me what it's actually supposed to do then.
Yeah, as the name states, Prodsphere, it's the whole 360 data management of product data within enterprises. The idea is to consolidate all the distributed way of managing the customer's product data, which is spread across the MDM solutions, PIM, digital assets on DAM, ESG solutions on different sustainability platforms. So it was across all these places. And with Prodsphere, we are trying to bring it back as we see with all this AI and also master data becoming more and more crucial. Mm-hmm. That the product data is managed in one place, different stakeholders, and the business has full visibility on that part.
So master data, you often talk about golden records. So you're the golden records.
We'll become the golden record for product data.
Cool.
Okay. And how is it built? Is it built with BTP or within S4, or how did you?
From the beginning, it was a BTP part. That's who we are. We are the BTP experts, building enterprise-grade applications on BTP. Not just a hobby or converting a customer project into products. It thought through from the beginning that it will be an app. It will be an application natively built on the business technology platform, using all the capabilities, and also make it enterprise grade from security, governance, and workflows, and offer it as a SaaS kind in the BTP platform.
It sounded like a very big bucket of product data, right?
Yep.
But you mentioned workflow.
Yes, because you cannot imagine the number of stakeholders involved in product data, starting from the R&D towards the sales, inventory, manufacturing, procurement, finance as well. So the product data goes across all these different stakeholders, getting enriched over the period of time, and that's where we need governance and proper control while enriching. Today, it is having the life cycle of these product data is spread across, and you get the duplicates of these products moving away from the golden record, and that's what Prodsphere will try to achieve.
And only internally, or is it going to the suppliers, for instance, as well?
Very good
for
question.
Certificates and.
Glad that you asked it. Indeed.
Points for Jan.
Happy to ask.
Good question, Jan.
Exactly. The product data is not just internal. It involves suppliers, stakeholders, but also customers or consumers of those products. And that's what the DPP brings. The touch point of the digital product passport is actually the end consumer. Like you walking into Albertine, taking a packet of noodles, and you scan and you want to see what this product about, where's the origin of this product, how safely it was manufactured, what's the carbon footprint, and that's the consumer touch point. Same goes to the suppliers. So all this data, or not majority of this data, comes from the raw materials, how the products are getting onboarded. So you go beyond your landscape, touch base with suppliers, give them the possibility to enrich their data into the customer's product domain. So it's complete end-to-end landscape. And also your e-commerce, right? So all this product data is getting published in the commerce domain or the experience domain. So the data needs to be accurate. And now we have the other challenge. It needs to be contextful for your AIs to work. So the master data, product master data is more critical than other master data in the organization.
This sounds like a really challenging application, to be honest. If you talk about product data, then product data it's not something that is fixed. All the time when you source new products, for instance, and you go out there and you find a new, product category, for instance, it comes with a new bunch of product attributes.
Yep. And that's where choosing BTP as a platform adds value, because getting it closer to your operational system or system of record, in this case SAP, along with other systems like CRM and e-commerce, makes sense. Majority of this data are relevant for your operational purpose, but also for stock keeping, for manufacturing. So BTP helps us to keep all those complexity, like understanding all the attributes, the reference data behind the metadata of your material master in the SAP case, helps us to minimize that complexity, because even though we built it on BTP, we still see it as an extension to your core master data.
Because the master data is still somewhere in S4.
Exactly, yeah. Where it's an S4, or it needs to feed back to the S4 to make sure that the product.
But there's also integration between the customer's backend system and your product Prodsphere solution.
I guess it lives in more systems than just S4. Also in your commerce systems, in your
CRM systems, in your PLM, which is where it probably originates if you're an R&D or a manufacturing. So it has touch points in many applications.
And the cool thing is that customers can actually go there. So that's why it's convenient to have it on a public platform. Like, and it
has to be scalable to publish it globally, but also scalable from a performance-wise. If a consumer is scanning the QR code of the DPP, it has to work, irrespective of where they are, which time zones, which location. So scalability and of course security is a big aspect. And that's also the reason why we want to keep it on the BTP platform and not just an extension in S4.
And it's on your BTP, it's the Aarini BTP environment, and you offer it as a SaaS solution to your customer.
That's the end goal.
Okay.
But then, since a new player in the market, they're could be some flexibility. We could deploy it at the customer's BTP, but the preference is to move towards more SaaS based. But that we will get there by maturity.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Arun, if you look at what you have now built on top of the existing product, what did you do during the hackathon?
Yeah, and why? How did this idea came about? Is there a customer that asked for it?
Yeah, we were.
So many questions. Let's start with the first question.
Where do you want to start?
So we were evaluating the part of a EU Green Deal. So we were doing a lot of compliance check, the green tokens and so other things. So when we came across this scenario, we already had a Prodsphere product. We wanted to enhance a feature on top of that. So we wanted to also include the possible compliance check. So when we look at it, we came across the digital product passport. It is something that is going to be mandatory starting next year for certain product categories.
Mandatory by regulation.
Yeah, by regulations, by the EU regulations. So we have to provide a certain information about the product to the consumers, which has to be available publicly to them. So when they scan the QR code, they should be able to have a look at this information like who manufactured this product, what is its origin, the warranty, life cycle, how do they recycle this product, and so on. So we came across this topic. So then we decided that since we are already managing the product information, we will also manage the information relevant to the passport along with it, and then we will serve it publicly. So we distribute the QR code which is generated for the product, which is printable or exportable. So it can be attached to any of the product. And once it is done, when somebody scans it, we are going to provide this information as a passport. So one thing we did differently here is, so today there are only certain categories of product that are included into the compliance check. So we also wanted to make it more dynamic as possible. So we came up with this dynamic UI generation for the passport, where for different categories of product, which is going to get included into the compliance check, we generate the user interface for them in the runtime. So basically the passport information is generated at runtime.
Yeah, that's really powerful because I saw what you did during the hackathon and I was really impressed with how you solved this dynamic generation of UI.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it's the predecessor of the Gen UI.
Dynamic generation of the UI?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Gen UI.
Yeah, no. Seriously, what does it mean if you generate it?
Yeah, but then ask you.
Okay. What does it mean?
Okay. Let's say today the product battery is included into the EU regulations. So there is also a plan to include the textiles and electronics as well. So when I'm going to create a digital passport, I'm basically going to serve a user interface into your mobile application when you are going to scan the QR code. So for a particular product, so each and every product has a different set of attributes to them. Mm-hmm. So they require a different set of user interface, how we represent them, how we present them to the end users. So instead of having to design the user interface each and every time a product gets included into the compliance check, I wanted to come up with a solution where it has to be a dynamic one. Mm-hmm. And today the generative AI, it provides a lot of capability to us. So what we did is we capture the product relevant information. We have a different set of template designs for different categories of product. We pass on all this information into the generative AI, to the AI model along with the product information. And then we ask the product to come up with the user interface for this. So we also wanted to have a consistency over here. So each time when somebody scans a particular product, it has to present the same user interface.
That will be convenient. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want to see a different user interface each and every time. So we had to set a certain boundaries using the templates. Also, when a particular product template has been generated, we also store those component information into the database, which will be later retrieved every time the product has been scanned and then served to the end users.
Yeah. So if I understood correctly, if you go through the supermarket and you, for instance, see a bottle of banana yogurt, then you're not interested in battery information because there's no battery in there. So it won't generate the UI for batteries.
No,
that's basically what it means, right?
Batteries.
Yeah. So then it will give you, for instance, caloric values and that sort of thing, because that's part of what and ingredients maybe.
Yep.
And then once you've done that as a first time, you had the AI to generate the user interface for you, and then once that's done, you stored whatever has been generated with the product somewhere in a database.
Yes.
Ha.
Yep.
starting to get it.
No, but we
Impressive,
also,
right?
Impressive,
you
yeah,
also
that's
need to
impressive.
understand, right? It cannot be an app on the iOS App Store or Android App Store because it's static, and you cannot have an app for every brand and every manufacturer. So because it's consumer facing, and that's what the other DPP solutions are trying to solve. Okay, they will
Mhm.
provide one app
Yeah.
called European
batteries.
DPP
Yeah.
for batteries
Yeah.
or for other textiles. And you need to install that app and you scan it, and you will end up having, I don't know, 15 different apps
Yeah.
the App
Is,
Store.
it, is this a regulation that's coming from the EU that whatever store I go into, I always have to be able to scan it to ask for its digital passport?
You can print it on your product as well, but
Uh-huh.
the information is quite rich. It would be hard to print all this information,
Especially on a banana.
on a banana or in
Yeah.
your yogurt. Plus the availability of this information is also changing. So
Yeah.
as a manufacturer, I can change my raw materials. So it has to be dynamic.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the overhead to keep printing and updating those publishing.
Yeah,
will
there's so
take
much
time.
printed on those products already.
Yeah.
And when
I
should this?
think
when
they
should-
deliberately using a smaller font nowadays,
Yes.
or is it
You
just
can't
my
read it anymore.
or is
Yeah.
it just my eyesight?
Yeah, probably the both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Twan.
Yeah. I'm still. I just always wear my glasses. You only when you have to read something.
Yeah,
but
you
it's-
could phrase that a bit more friendly.
Yeah,
Oh,
even
sorry.
that's why the QR code is the new, not only on the DPP, also the product barcodes which we see in the products are going to change. It's going to be converted into QR codes, so you will have more information and less printing on your products, and
Yeah.
maybe less waste.
Okay, that would be a very good achievement. And when is this? When are the vendors? When is so? When should it be available? When do I walk into the store and can I do this?
So like Arun mentioned, the regulation is activated for certain product categories now, starting with the energy, like batteries related
Oh,
to
it's there already.
starting 27.
Mhm.
It's going to be it's already there.
Yeah,
But then from
on King's Day.
27,
That is
The
mandatory.
compliance is there.
Yeah.
It's going to come into picture from February 2027.
Okay,
Oh,
so
February 20. Oh, I
You're
thought
in time.
27th of April. That's King's Day.
yeah, that would be.
we're already planning for your celebrations. Then.
Yeah, but that's then you are in time with the solution.
Yep.
That's really and then customers of the solution, of the users for the solution, that is the factories, the suppliers of.
The factories, the suppliers, manufacturers
Yeah.
who can provide this digital product passport. It could also be a way to exchange data between the business partners. So today, suppliers, most of the time, they just send emails with Excel sheets, or you ask the consumer or the customer go to their website and download information. It can also be simplified. If they just have a passport, then you can also go and enrich your information using those passports.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
for supermarkets like Albertine or Jumbo, they can just get that information from their manufacturers and suppliers through the digital passport.
Okay. Arun, and what services for BTP did you use in this new functionality?
Yeah,
that-
and why the BTP?
because it's the BTP Hackathon, Jan.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I would completely understand your eternal love for the business technology platform, but specifically for this for this particular product, why would you pick the BTP as the preferred platform?
Yeah, the product is already built on BTP platform.
That's yeah.
And we are already having quite a few services which offers the functionality. So we used quite a few services. So most of the things are like we had the work zone, we use the HANA database, then we use the CAP for CAP as a framework. The entire application is built using UEFI as a user interface, apart from the digital product passport, which is a React application, but that is still hosted into the BTP environment.
And is that because it needs to generate the user interface on the fly?
Yeah, because it has to generate a user interface on the fly.
Right.
The one thing is that the user interface has to be dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
and also we also wanted to target multiple devices. So we wanted
Right.
screens to be as responsive as possible. UEFI is still responsive, but when you look into the passport information, they have a variety of details, a lot of pictures, logos, and so on. So we wanted, so I chose React as a framework for that to make it convenient.
Yeah, so it's slightly easier to work with.
Yeah,
if you
slightly
have
easier to
very
work.
rich
Yeah.
media.
And process automation was also in.
Yeah, the process automation was there. So, and we are also using the SAP AI core as a foundation for our agent. which does the compliance check. So we have a couple of agents inbuilt apart from the passport generation. So we have one agent for the compliance check. What it does is we have provided a grounding information of the regulation which is provided by EU, and based on that, whatever the product information which you are capturing as part of the the product details, it cross-reference and check whether we are compliant against it, whether we are maintaining all the necessary information which are mandated by the European Union, and it gives a compliance score. So it tells you like what are the critical information that you are missing in your product category. Then the Prodsphere has a template capability where you can just easily add and remove attributes. If you find something which is missing over there, you can just add the relevant product attributes and then maintain those information. Once you maintain those information, then they become part of your digital product passport.
Can you give an example of such attributes that are, for instance, mandatory for compliance?
Okay, for example, you need to provide an information of how to recycle the product. So if that information is not captured in our master data, then when you do a compliance check, it's going to list you out like these are the different attributes that you need to maintain in order to have a complete passport which is compliant. So those kind of information we check against the guideline. So the AI core model, it helps us evaluate this information based on the material input we pass and based on the input which is available in the grounding document. It comes up with the evaluation criteria and then it presents the information back to the administrator who is managing the product information.
Is it based on Joule Studio?
No, it's not based on Joule Studio. It's an AI core foundation model.
Right.
We built it on LangChain and LangGraph.
Joule Studio was not TDD enabled at that point of time. Hopefully now it is available now, so we can start looking into Joule Studio as well.
And the process automation parts, where did you use that?
The process automation part we just included so that if we also have a background process. If the administrator is maintaining a lot of product information and if those product informations are not compliant, then the background job, it looks into the information about the product. It looks into the compliance details. It looks into the details where which of the material which are not compliant, and then it raises an workflow to the concerned person so that they get notified on this and they have to act upon it.
And it's also AI driven again.
That is not AI driven. So we already have an agent which captures this information. It puts the compliance check into the database. So from those database, we just have a job which runs and generate the workflow.
Yeah, it checks whether there's products with
check
low compliance.
Check which other product basically is registered into the compliance table as an incomplete. So we take those product and identify who created it and we send a notification.
That sounds like a lot. So did you all build it yourself, Arun?
No, not all of them myself. So we were evaluating a lot of AI frameworks to assist with our process. So we used an AI assisted development to build this entire solution.
Smart.
Vibe coded it.
It's not a vibe coding. We follow a specific process. We are focusing more into behavior driven development. We generate spec, we validate it, and then we
spec driven development.
Like a spec driven development. So most of the things, the way we achieve it is we provide an example to the model as how it's supposed to work, and using that example as an evaluation criteria along with the specification which we have provided, we generate the application. So the compliance dashboard which I showed you on the demo, so that itself was AI generated.
Okay. And how many colleagues joined you in the development of this solution?
So along with me, the Prodsphere team, they supported me in providing the information on what has been built so far, their core functionalities, and then how I can expand on top of it. So the Prodsphere team, they were just pitching in and then they were assisting me with all the help that I needed.
So applause for them as well. Okay. And Ari, I saw a video popping up on LinkedIn, you talking about Prodsphere and that you used the SAP build and you were as fast as possible. So how did you end up in that video? Yeah,
we were interacting with the CAP product team. Of course, we sponsor Recap. It's been 3 years down now. So, and also we are part of the customer influence or customer voice of the CAP team. And during those discussion, it popped up, hey, and we have been using CAP for a long time since it was launched.
Yeah.
Now next to Prodsphere, we have at least I have another product which is Bright Price, which is rooted also in BTP, which Jan knows, which is a CPQ solution. So we have been giving feedback to the CAP team about its benefits, usage, but also feedbacks on what needs to be improved. The CAP team came up with this idea. So why don't you talk about SAP Build and how you are using Build to have this application built up?
Yeah. Now speaking of Bright Price, I can see an overlap between what you're doing. Product master, pricing.
More than overlap, it can complement.
Exactly.
So Bright Price focuses mainly on the sales pricing, so how to effectively sell your products, especially on large B2B contracts. And cost data is one of our list price or cost data is one of the key inputs to Bright Price, which can be fed through Prodsphere. So it's kind of the chain of events in your sales process. We can pair it up. That's also why it interested me to further develop the Prodsphere after the hackathon 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you look at this hackathon, and you already mentioned it was not a 24-hour hackathon, which we are really happy with. So we started with some enablement with new features that have been explained by product management. Then you had the time to submit an idea and to actually start working on it. And in February, we had 6 participants, and in February we had then the presentation, the pitch to the jury, and then we had 3 finalists. Yes. How did you experience the hackathon and support by product management and VNSG? And you can be honest, so that we can also learn from your experience for hopefully a next, and maybe by the end of the year we will have a new hackathon again.
Maybe to start off with, who was your coach?
My coach was Twan.
Yay!
So he was assisting me with.
Was he helpful and friendly?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't expect that, right?
No. Sounds like a bias towards other people.
Yeah. So after the event was announced, there were a few BTP enablement sessions that was going on. So we haven't been able to participate in all of them. But the thing that mostly helped me in this development is last year around the time of November, we started this development for the application. So that was when I came here for the CITNL, where we had these sessions on the AI agents. So that when someone has presented on the LangGraph based AI agents using the AI core. So that application, it helped me understand better. So using that application as a foundation, we use that as a reference, and then we built our agents on top of that.
This is really nice to hear that CITNL, our baby, Jan, has been inspiring you. And
so I was following up with Twan for several weeks to get the presentation and the source code.
Yeah, cool. And then you exchange source code and ideas and
so I use that source code as an input to the model, as a reference architecture to use for building our agents.
This is a real community. This is the community spirit that we are looking for.
The sharing, part of the community, definitely.
Nice to hear. Okay.
So I heard the inside track is also still needing some sponsors, right?
always. Yeah.
I hurry. What customers do you have? You mentioned the big because it's coming out of your development phase in the hackathon, and you while the product is maturing, especially around the passport and stuff. Did you already find customers that are willing to invest in your solutions?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of customers now. One on the food and grocery. It's a customer called Santa Fu, Saints of Food. That's how they call it. It's a farm to table concept. The regulation is not yet activated for food, but hopefully, I think that's the next in line. That all our food and consumer goods will also be activated. So we started building from that perspective. So Santa Fu is a farm to table mobile delivered to your home concept in France, which has been our customers for the last 3-4 years now. So we do the SAP part for them, ERP, the order management, and they also have an app in the App Store. But then the product information related to all those products, like the pictures, videos, descriptions, and the ingredients and attributes, and that's all managed through Prodsphere. And we always use them as a reference to build new features. We are yet to find an energy customer where the regulation is getting activated. Maybe with this, we will try to land at a battery manufacturer or an
Dear energy customer, if you're listening in,
Yeah.
contact Hari.
But I always thought that Aarini was a Netherlands-based company. How come you just flew over to France?
You can drive to France, yeah.
Or drive to
Yeah, we
France?
can drive to France. Yeah, it's indeed
take
a
a train.
Netherlands-based company, but we have customers in Europe, in Middle East, in US. So we have because of the BTP. So we are seen as a specialist or an expert on a business technology platform. So that helps us to go beyond the Dutch borders.
So you spread. What I meant is you spread your wings and you fly. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
by figure of speech, metaphor,
Oh, okay.
metaphorically.
Yeah. No,
But that's always strange. You build your products, and the first customer you get is always some for bright price. Our first customer was in Australia.
And then you had to visit the customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to
It's a
do
hard
it,
job.
and, it's a hard job, and you volunteer yourself. I would like to go to Sydney.
How do you end up with your first customer being in Australia? I mean, you have all your customers here, you have your exposure here. How do you suddenly end up with a customer in Australia?
It was 8 years ago. It was through the events. So we have been participating in events. I think it was an event in Southeast Asia where the pricing manager of that customer attended that event and reached out to us. Hey, I saw your application. It sounds to be a good fit for us. Why don't you come down?
That's nice. So of course you have the traditional way of doing sales, like drinking coffee at customer side. But then, like with events or with a community event, that's where you learn about technology. That's where you learn about possibilities. Yeah, that's really cool. That somebody of Australia reached out to you guys and is the launching customer.
I think so too. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So come on over, down under.
Down under.
Yeah. Okay. And what's next for Prodsphere?
For Prodsphere, we are expanding more and more on the AI capabilities. So we always look into, of course, Aarini as a BTP expert, we have to introduce AI for our own use, like the agentic development, the agent development. So how do we use AI to bring down or reduce our go-to-market of features? So that's something we are experimenting. So Arun is championing the SDD, the spec-driven development approach, which will help our build team to bring features faster to market. So that's our key focus now. Next to that, for what is the AI for our customers, the business AI. So there we are further expanding the DPP capabilities. And now we are also enriching those attributes. So based on the feedback from the AI, using SAP Build Process Automation, we can now orchestrate and also recommend certain attributes. Okay, you miss the recycling description. How do you recycle a product? So
and will that have to wait for the next hackathon to materialize?
That's already there. We started already using the BTP attribute recommendation service.
It's a product data attribute
recommendation service to start with, but we will further probably will bring that into AI core because there are some limitations in that service. So maybe we'll do the attribute recommendation in AI core and extend our workflow.
Okay, and I had a question and I lost the question.
I have a difficult question.
Yo.
This is Young Stuff question.
It's not so tough actually, but a question that to Arun specifically. Let's nerd out a little bit. What's your favorite LLM to build your applications with, to do the spec-driven development with?
My favorite LLM is using Claude.
And why?
I get better response when I use the Cloud Opus model compared to the other models. So in terms of accuracy and less errors, it was much better for me. So that's something that is working well.
And using Cloud Code, or are you using it inside Visual Studio or something via Client or whatever?
No, I'm using Cloud Code.
Right. Straight onto the desktop and then probably looking at your code in Visual Studio.
Yes.
How do you, once it's, this is one of the things that we spoke about during lunch. So you have a lot of that code being generated. How do you make sure that this product's great level quality?
Manageable.
Yeah. Manageable, but also in terms of quality.
Quality.
So we only use the AI for generating the code. but we do have a lot of process around it. So we don't. We have a different set of DevOps operation which we have enabled. We have different branching strategies. When we move code from one branch to another branch, we also run certain checks. There are certain software which are available which can review the AI code and then it can come up with responses. So we evaluate all this different types of framework, and we also always keep human in the loop.
Yeah.
So we also do a review of the code every time we generate something. We just don't directly take it into production.
So you're looking at there's a lot of vacancies in your company for code reviewers.
No.
You're taking on that job yourself.
Instead of
No, it's
builders,
the responsibility of the developer who is doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Changing your basically that your job changes from building and generating code into more code review.
Yeah, exactly. So earlier we had to spend a lot of time into analysis of how to get this done. We have to do. We have to surf through a lot of documentations. We have to do a trial and out errors. But today, the way we are generating the code is changing. So the AI, they are assisting us with the development in a much faster rate. So the only information that we need to know today is what to ask to the model and what are the information we have to provide to it. Also, we need to be also knowledgeable enough to understand what the AI is generating and guide it in the correct direction of the application. It cannot just generate random things for us. So, so we also need to know what to ask.
Yeah, but how do you feel about your job changing? I mean, I spoke this morning to a person that said, I'd like to craft code myself so much. It's like craftsmanship, right? And this is exactly the parts that are being taken away from me, and now I'm forced to do something else. So you know what? I'm going to quit IT altogether, and I'm going to do something else, something marketing related. How about you?
No, I'm still going to stick with the development.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to feel like it's going to take my job away. So we are still going to learn continuously. So that's part of our job. So we will adapt to it. We will try to understand how the AI works more and more. We will try to work more in line with it, and we will come up with a newer solution to build more innovative products.
Yeah, you're adapting and
we are adapting.
hoping to improve quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I can add to it, I think the role of our developers are becoming more prominent than deteriorating. So one is not just the reviewer part, right? So the spec, which is the SDD. So your contribution, the craftsmanship, still there, not in terms of typing programming languages, but in terms of defining the spec within the boundaries. So you are still in control. It's still your mastermind to design that solution. So the spec is still coming from you. The AI is just assisting on generating or converting that spec into a structured programming language. And of course, you still have to review them. Another change which I see it happening is the silo programmers or developers are getting broader. So we used to have front-end developers, back-end developers, data engineers, data scientists, but those roles are getting kind of aggregated. So if I'm a developer, if I know JavaScript and I was doing only UI5, now I can also do CAP. I can also do HANA coding.
So everyone is going to be a full stack
everyone
developer.
is going to be a full stack developer and and you don't have to
full stack
you have
generator.
to learn the programming languages, but it becomes much faster because you see the code getting generated. You can learn from it with bit more safer. You don't make, I think syntax errors are not there anymore. At least you need to know how to fix them when AI is stuck. I see the role of developers are getting broader, and
I think that's good news, Arun. I heard the developers broader. I heard more prominence. I heard full stack development, all kinds of things that beef up the prominency and the importance of developers at Aarini. So I think a bunch of pay rises are are coming up. Oh yeah.
Each other.
Bring that cashier.
That one. Yeah, but I'm also curious because you're using this spec-driven development, which is not vibe coding where you just enter a prompt and I like you to create this application. Is there a difference in the quality of the results if you're using spec-driven development or this vibe coding? Did you experience that?
Yeah, there is a lot of difference. So when you do a vibe coding, so you have to go through a lot of iterations. You generate a code and then it comes up with a response. And if that response is not suitable and if you don't know what else to ask, you basically what you would end up doing is copy the error message which you are seeing on the UI and then paste it back to the model and then say like, okay, this is the error I'm getting, go ahead and fix this.
Yeah.
So at times it just run into loops. So it try to fix one thing and then it creates another error.
Yeah.
So with web coding, you have to do a lot of iterations and you also introduce a lot of technical depth. You have more code than necessary into your application. It just generate a lot of things. You try different things and then to fix it, and then you just end up using only the feature that is needed, but still you have a lot of technical depth. You generated more code than necessary. With the spec-driven development, what we do is we try to instruct it in a way that a test case has to be generated for the application first. So we set a criteria, what is the functionality that is needed, and we don't try to build the entire application all in one stretch. So first we go with the process of creating a product requirement document, then we break it down into smaller pieces, and then we also try to do a memory management around it. So what is the feature that has been implemented so far, and we also document those implementation, and those document also again we feed it back into the model. So this is what has been done so far, and this is the new feature which I am going to implement, and these are the functionality. So we also generate the feature specification in a way that we have a certain criteria for acceptance, and also we have a certain definition of done. So these are certain boundaries that we set across the model, set across the specification which the model can use. So whatever the development that the AI model is doing, it has to match those criterias. Only then we consider those development to be done. So the developer has to be putting more focus into the feature specification on what is the feature we are asking the AI to implement, and the acceptance criteria and the definition of done, because which serves as a benchmark for the AI model. So we use this and we try to generate the code, and also we always focus on generating the test cases, so that after the code is being generated, the AI they themselves can run the test to see if the generated code is valid or not, or if there are any errors in the test cases. Then it can just go back into the loop and then it try to fix it on its own. So one of the challenge we faced is with the UI development mostly, but with the introduction of this UEFI MCP servers and Fiori MCP servers, we were also able to make use of those MCP in order to generate the template, and on top of that we can ask the AI to generate the code. So we also use a headless browser automation for as our testing framework, where the AI can just run those things. They can just internally review how the application is behaving in the browser. So there are frameworks like Playwright which takes the screenshot of your application, and those screenshots are again fed back into the model, where it says like, okay, whether the user interface was developed correctly or not, and then it just evaluate it, and then if there are like white blank screen, it basically knows there is some error in the code which did not start the application. So it go back and try to analyze the browser console in the headless browsers, and then it try to fix it on its own. So those are something we have noticed the AI models are being doing. So what we do as part of our spec driven development is we just try to formulate a process around this, so that we streamline and structure how the application is being developed, and we get a better results.
So I think we need to book Arun for CityNL.
Yeah, definitely.
For a session on spec-driven development.
Absolutely, and how the differences are, because most
really
people
amazing.
start off with just vibe coding. They don't have the patience to get through a spec and just prompt away, and like you said, guardrails that you start with when you do spec-driven development are only seen later. That for instance, if you and I answered it last time myself when I was telling the app, you just have to connect to AEM, to the advanced event mesh of SAP, and then it started going completely off the rails. It started with an AEM driver or an AMQP driver that was totally unsuitable for what I wanted to do, and then it came into a loop, and you can see how many tokens it burns then, right? Yes. And then eventually it says, I don't know, it doesn't work, go figure. And then I said, there's a best practice that says use this driver. Oh yeah, let's try that drive. Oh, it works. But you can imagine, right? How many, how you could have very easily prevented that by just having the spec first, and you wouldn't have to burn through all of those tokens. You wouldn't have to go through that cycle. So I do believe that spec-driven development can actually add to the equation when it comes down to AI building your code.
more time invested in the front saves you time in the back. Yeah.
With the spec-driven development, we are still burning the tokens because we have to feed in a lot of informations.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
entire thing which you are trying to build.
That's true. But don't forget that if you vibe code, that all of your code goes over the line as well. And maybe it's more convenient to have just only your spec going over the line than all of your code again in the context window of your AI.
Yeah, if we get the spec wrong, then the entire application is going to be wrong.
Yep.
The
So-
other good thing about this is, compared to the wipe coding, we also do a memory management. So we can also always continue from where we left.
Yeah.
With the wipe coding, if you close the session and if you start a new session, the AI model understands it's everything new.
Yeah, and the whole compacting thing, like I'm going to compact your context, so
Yeah.
and then hope and pray that it will that it will remember all the most important things. So I always end up with remember this.
Please.
Please don't forget. Oh yeah, please.
Also, this SDD is not new. Maybe it's a new term. I don't know who invented it, but it's our traditional SDLC. What we used to do to build enterprise business application, we followed all these procedures. We did
It's kind of
create
the waterfall model, isn't it?
exactly,
Like a functional design.
exactly. Yeah, but
yeah.
now we have the power to automate that
Mhm.
part, so we save time but
Yeah, but no, maybe it's not new, but I really like that how you explained it also compared to vibe coding, because everyone is talking about AI vibe
Yep,
coding,
yep.
and you just prompt anything and you generate your S4 system within 10 minutes. A little bit black and white discussion, but but you say no. We want to have the quality, the memory good, and so that's how you invest time in front with specs, and then it's really interesting. And I'd like to see more and hear more about that.
It got me to think, Ari. Like, if you look at spec-driven development and connect it to waterfall, and if you have vibe coding and connect it to agile,
Yeah.
would that make sense?
that makes sense. And you again, vibe coding is there to really assist you to fix. Okay, I have a syntax error or I have a bug in the system, so I need to find a solution quickly. So you still vibe code to resolve those ad hoc issues you pop
Yeah.
up on the
True.
runtime. And that's still kind of the agile approach. I want to go and fix some things, and I don't know certain new libraries. Maybe there are new libraries popped up in CAP or Node.js, and that is still there. And SDD is like proper feature engineering, proper product development within the organization, where I want to have a full trail of governed product development approach. And both has a role. It's not like SDD is good or replacing vibe coding. Vibe coding is still there to fix certain things.
Maybe we should also have a podcast for some time to talk about what happened to agile. Anyway,
Yeah.
and I think we should have a new category, the difficult question of Twan.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you started off with what's the difference between vibe
Okay.
coding?
Let's
and
make a
spec-driven
new.
development.
Maybe we can ask AI to create a jingle for it. No, but sorry. I really like to see more about what you developed, how you developed with spec-driven development, and at some kind of event, hopefully at CityNL or maybe the VNSG Developer Day or whatever event, because it's really promising, and I've seen the results with Prodsphere, which was really amazing. So, thank you very much, Arun, for joining us today in the podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you, Hari,
Thank you.
and thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Twan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
and by the way, I really like the enthusiasm when you get to talk about
Yeah,
vibe
yeah.
coding and spec-driven development.
you can see that the BTP is in their
Yeah.
heart, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for listening in or watching in and tuning into this episode of HANA Café the Netherlands. And see you next time.
And that's a wrap for this episode of HANA Café Nederland. Jan and Tom loved having you here. Drop us a line if you have any thoughts or want to be on the show. We'll be back soon with more SAP goodness. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.
Goed weekend.
Ja, fijn weekend.
Ja.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nu mogen we weer praten.
Ja, alsof je dat afgelopen 3 kwartier niet gedaan hebt.
That was good.